This month in Agile Boston, Dan LeFebvre, President and Principal Consultant of DCL Business Agility, is going to be talking about Beyond Guesswork, Empirical Strategies for Agile Release Planning.
Empiricism is about making decisions based on actual evidence, real data, not based on what you wish to happen. Progress is based on reality of completed work. Who has the definition of done? Okay, how often do you make sure that the increment meets the definition of done before you say it's done? Yeah, exactly. Most organizations do. Because the pressure to say they're done is higher than the pressure to keep the quality up. Mm-hmm. Right? So then that leads to poor evidence. Stakeholders think you're done. The team knows it's not. There's a whole bunch of technical debt they got to clean up. So because the stakeholders know they're done, they make more requests. So then what happens? The team now has more work to do than they had before because they still have to finish up the stuff they said was done but isn't really. And now they got more work to do. And it becomes a vicious cycle. So we gotta make that stuff visible. And again, the benefits of this is you can respond to change better. It's more transparent. It's the stakeholders, the team are more aligned. It's very important to start using empiricism. The way you start is you get a big table or a wall, and you put on one side a card that says smaller, and the other side you say a card that says larger. Okay? You print off all your stories, items, whatever you call them, on cards, and you just randomly hand them out to the team. Okay? Then the team does is they place it in between these two things based on the relative complexity, uncertainty, and volume of those items. Okay? So it's all laid out. Now, so this thing is about 5-6 times this thing. Right? That's why it's placed close to the larger. Now, when they do this, you'll start seeing these patterns in groups. Like you can see about 5 groups there, roughly. Right? You'll see this on the wall. So then you just divide them into the groups. Now what you do is you have, first of all, everyone now look at all of them and say, do you agree with these collections? Because you only really looked at the ones you put up, plus the ones around it to kind of see if I got in the right place. And everyone's done the exact same thing. So now if we all look at the wall together, we can say, yeah, this feels like it's the right place. Now what a lot of people do is they already put t-shirt sizes up before they start this process. I don't. Keep it completely continuous, flexible. Once you get to this point now, I need to give it some numbers. So what we do is we start with the low one and say, okay, are these the smallest that we're going to see? If so, we give it a 1. If not, we might give it a 2. Okay? And then I have the team play planning poker column by column. To say, given that this is, in this case, a 1, what would you size the average size of things in this column? Because you know maybe these two really well, and you know these two, and then these other two are known by other people, so they can kind of sense that this column is twice the amount of effort, 3 times what's the amount of kind of complexity, volume compared to the first column. So let's say they did it and it came out the perfect Fibonacci sequence this time. But that's how you get those numbers up there, and then you throw those numbers on each of the cards. I once read this exercise with an organization that had 100 stories to size, and we did it at an hour.
Is that like each person come up with a tiles card and then put it wherever they think?
Yeah, so let's say I have 100 and we have like 10 people here, we give you each 10 cards. And then those 10 cards, they're all different, right? But each person then goes up and puts their cards up. and they look at where everybody else put their cards up and says, yeah, maybe that one compared to that one is here, right? And everyone puts it up. I also have them do that part silent, because it takes longer if they don't do it silent.
So are these stories potentially a blend of, subset of features?
Yes. Sometimes they're features, like if it's the very beginning of a project, they may just be features and epics and no stories at all.